Hello and welcome back to our channel. We have been doing a lot of classes live in person with less recordings because we wanted it to be more discussion based, and for that reason the past few months we have not been doing so many classes on live on YouTube, which means that my classes are not as available online as they used to be. But for that reason, I decided to finally get myself together and make a recording of all, or at least start recording a recap of the classes that we do. So basically, for the past few months, we've been doing every single week, based on the Torah portion, a discussion, and it's based on one of the commentaries on the Torah, Rabbeinu Bechaye, who always brings one proverb, a verse that was written by Solomon way before Rabbeinu Bechaye. Rabbeinu Bechaye was a Rishon. Solomon was the one that built the first temple, and he was the wisest of all. And he wrote very powerful sentences, proverbs, which have tremendous wisdom. There's a lot of hidden wisdom in it also, but there's the simple wisdom and the deeper levels of wisdom that's hidden in his words. Thousands and thousands of people have written and study his words, and they guide the Jewish people, and they have been one of the greatest books of our history. And basically, Rabbeinu Bechaye brings a verse from Proverb, and that verse summarizes the Torah portion of each week. And that's what we've been doing. We've had these classes where we break up into different groups, and everyone discusses a different point of discussion, and then we come out with a message. Now, for many people, they're not able to make it on Taco Tuesday every week, and sometimes they miss a very important discussion that we have. And I think they are very important and very thought-provoking and life-changing. And for that reason, some have asked me if they missed the class, where is the recording? So for now, I've decided to get myself together and organize a recording. So this is it, of a recap of the classes that we do. Okay, without further ado, this week's topic was about healing with words. It's on this week's Torah portion called Yitro. This week's Torah portion, Yitro, is about the Jewish people getting the Torah, receiving the Torah. They left Egypt. They managed to get free. 50 days later, they receive the Torah, they get the Ten Commandments, and that is in this week's Torah portion called Yitro. Jethro was the father-in-law of Moses. And we are going to see that this topic, and the topic that Rabbeinu Bechaye chose as the topic for the Torah portion of Yitro, was the idea that words can heal. And this is the verse in Proverbs chapter 12:28, where Solomon says, Marpeh lashon etz chayim, a healing tongue, Marpeh lashon, a healing tongue, is a tree of life. Meaning, the healing, the word that you say can heal people, it can give people life. V'selef ba, however, the lack of it, the perverseness of it, can cause shever beruach, destruction in the wind. Literally, ruach means wind or by wind, but on a deeper level, destruction to the soul, to the spirit. So when someone, and this is the overall understanding and explanation that Rabbeinu Bechaye gives to this verse, which is that if you speak words with kindness and care and love, that can have a much stronger healing effect than medicine. Medicine, which is needed, heals someone physically. But words, they are the way to heal someone mentally, spiritually, heal his soul. And when you heal someone physically, so you cure the body. Physical medicine, that heals the body. But you don't necessarily guarantee that the person will return to a better state. But when you heal someone with words, when you say the right words, when you give them power and encouragement, and you use the right word, and we'll see what kind of word we're talking about, then you're able to heal them in a way that you better their life. Not only do you improve their health, but you also improve their life as well, and bringing a overall positive change to that person. However, just like words have the most powerful healing effect, harmful words can have the greatest negative impact on a person's health. For instance, if you laugh at someone, shame them, mock them, that can be extremely, extremely damaging to a person's well-being. And there is a similar proverb that's in chapter 18, verse 14, where Solomon says, Ruach ish yechalkel machaleu. A man's spirit, a person's spirit, that can make him sustain through his illness. However, Ruach neche'ah, but a low spirit, a broken spirit, mi isa'ena, who can carry that no matter what your situation is, who will be able to burden depression. And all of these ideas are healed through the mouth, and that's the greatest form of healing. So that's the verse that Solomon said. Again, his original verse in Proverbs was, Marpe lashon, a healing tongue, etz chaim, can give life. V'selef ba, but the removal of it, or the perverseness of a tongue, meaning saying bad things, sheva beruach, can cause destruction by wind or destroy a person's spirit. Meaning, even if you say something small, it can the effect of your words can be so far greater than you can even imagine, and it can destroy that person. So we split into different groups, and we discussed different points, and we asked, how do you think kind words can contribute to a person's healing? And obviously someone said, if you're sick, if God forbid someone's sick and you are down from that situation, you need family, you need people to be there to give you the right encouragement so that you can survive and go through the challenge and have the right mindset to go through whatever challenge you're going through. And then the first group discussed, can you share personal experience where someone's words positively affected your well-being? And someone said very interestingly, if I'm in work and my boss, and I'm working hard and I do a project and I succeed and I did something right, and then my boss just says, oh, that's very nice, and doesn't give me words of encouragement. Wow, I can see that you really worked at it, you really put in your effort. That can encourage someone to maintain and keep his career versus being so broken that he hates his work, hates his life. It can really be either give you or destroy you. And that was someone's example. Or some people mentioned if they are dressed in a certain way and someone comes up to them and they know that they made the right effort, and they come up to them and said, wow, you look amazing, or in a more modest fashion, you're giving off great energy today, or something like that. That can give someone so much more than we can imagine. If you say the right word, you can give someone life. If you say the wrong word, you can destroy their life. You never know. Some people, God forbid, could be suicidal. You smile to them, you said hello to them, and you changed their decision. Now they are able to think differently, and they are different. Who knows the power of our words? So that was the first discussion. The second discussion moved on to Rabbeinu Bechaya, who explains that negative words that lead to a broken spirit are not just any negative words. These are words of false ideals, a false belief system, actions that diverge us from Jewish values. That is the word. When Solomon said a good word heals, he means the words of good values, the words that when you are a child and you're growing up and your parents are educating you with love and they have the right values, v'ahavta l'orecha kamocha, love your neighbor like yourself, and all the values that Judaism stands for. So that child now builds a bulletproof vest. No matter what money you give that child, it's never going to be enough. But if you have peace in the home, if that child grows up in an environment where there's love in that environment, wherever he goes outside, he's wearing a bulletproof vest. That means the bulletproof vest can be hurt. It can still be hurt. God forbid if someone's shot whilst wearing a bulletproof vest, you can still be hurt. But at least you survive. And with someone who has a good education system, a good belief system, a good understanding about life, that I'm not just random and I have here a reason to being, then of course I can survive so much more, and it can save me from a broken spirit. So one of the great problems of a broken spirit is the lack of word that I got growing up. It could be a abusive word, words that weren't good for me, but also my belief system. That, more than anything, is the most powerful word. The next discussion group discussed another statement that Rabbeinu Bechaya says, and he says that one of the great causes of a broken spirit is bad faith, the word of bad faith. And people in this group discussed how bad faith can affect a person's mental ability, mental state, and can cause a person a lot of pain. And what is bad faith? How do you understand bad faith? And some people said bad faith could either be in people or in God. And it's so true. If you live a life where naturally we have a tendency to see the problems because we want to be secure, we want to be safe, we want to be strong, so we look for the problems in our day. But if we live a life where the present, today, was the worst day ever because I had traffic and because it rained, and because if you focus on all the problems of each day and you look back in the past few days, your nature has been looking at all the negative situations of each day, then of course, what are you going to think of tomorrow? What is your faith going to be about tomorrow? And also with people, if you think that every single person is only out there to hurt you, and you notice only the faults in what that person said, or this person said, or that, then of course the next person you meet, you are going to have bad faith in them, and you will have a broken spirit because of how you approach people. So a bad faith means the way you approach life every day. And obviously, bad faith also, emunah ra'ah, refers directly to faith in God. If someone takes God out of the picture, grows up in an environment where God is not in the picture. So that means everything's random. And me too, I'm just random cells that exist. And if I succeed, it's only because I'm lucky. And if I don't succeed, it's because I'm lacking luck. That is all the vision of randomness. And randomness, lack of purpose, lack of meaning, lack of reason is all a reason to eventually find brokenness. And obviously, you're not guaranteed to be broken. There are many people that have some form of faith, but you are worse off without faith, much worse off, and you're much better off with the idea of faith. Forget whether, outside of whether God exists or not, just the idea, the notion that there is a reason for my existence, that there's a creator, and if there's a creator, I exist, and if there is a reason for the world, and there's a reason for me, that alone gives a person so much, and a lack of it can really break a person. And even in today, modern day psychology, we approach this idea in life that when you have faith, you can continue, you can have hope, you can keep going, you can have mental health. But when you break all faith in people and humanity and in my purpose and my reason of existence, then I break myself also. So we went to the next discussion, which was the fourth discussion, and we wrote like this, and this was the discussion. So in the story of the great flood in the Torah, there was chaos and destruction. Everything was the worst that you could imagine. There was death, there was rape, there was murder, every horrible environment, much worse than whatever you think you see in our day and age. So it was so bad that the world had to go through a cleansing, and God instructed Noah to enter the ark. I'm sure you know the story. This ark is known as, in Hebrew, the Teva. A word for ark is Teva. And interestingly enough, the word Teva also means a word in Hebrew. Teva is a word in Hebrew. God was teaching all of us. The message of Noah and the great flood is not a message just for back then. It's a message for me and you. The Torah and the Bible is a story for our life. So the Torah tells me that whenever you are in a world of chaos, whenever you see chaos like many of us see today in the Jewish world, we too must go back to our Teva. We must go to, like Noah, go to the word. That is our ark. The ark against chaos is the word. And what is that word? That's the word of Torah. That's the ark, and it will shield us from chaos. And the discussion was, how does Judaism help us shield from the chaos of the world? And someone mentioned Shabbat. Someone mentioned the Jewish values. They all shield us from the chaos in the world. what Jewish teaching or word helped you in your life, and everyone gave different examples. But I want to tell you that if we live a life where we study and we look at the Torah and we look at the words and we see the messages and we look beyond the message and we ask ourselves, what does this teach me? What was the story of the flood? What does that teach me? What's the story of Adam and Chava? What does that teach me? What do I learn about relationships? Judaism has so much rich wisdom to teach me about all aspects of life, not only the aspect of making money, which is why we go to college and why we get a career, is so that we can make money, but we should also learn about every aspect of life and how to deal with many of our challenges as a human being. What is my purpose? What is my reason? What is my goal? What am I trying to achieve in my life? These are questions that you get answers through the Teva, through the word. And in a world of such great chaos like we see right now, we must always go back to the word and study the word, study those stories which are, in a way, stories specifically to come to me as a parable. The beauty of parables is that it's never pointing fingers at me. So the Torah is filled with stories, and through the stories we learn so much of how to be upright, how to deal with all of our challenges, how to find meaning. So the word, again, is a word that saves us from chaos. And if you look at the Jewish people, they've been through so much chaos throughout our history. How do we survive? How do they still maintain willingness to grow and build a family and continue and study and build and succeed and have work and whatever it is that we do? What is our secret? And the answer is our word. We go back to our book, we study our book, we repeatedly study our book, and every time we have a challenge, we remember, oh, that's that story, that's this story, that's the story of Abraham, and it guides us and directs us with how we should live in our life also. The fifth discussion was based on this proverb. What are the important things you should look for in your date beyond just physical attraction? So physical attraction is a simple one, but everything else we should be also focused on. And how do we do that? The answer is the word. When you're dating, have a conversation. Have deep conversations, not just conversations about physical things, but have deeper conversations. Have conversations about what you would want to do to help the world. Have conversations about building a family and structure and a home. And when you have deeper conversations, then you're able to get to see what is interesting that person. When you have a conversation with someone and you see that all they talk about is famous people, all they talk about is only sports, which I'm not against sport, but if it's the only thing you're talking about, and so on and so forth, then there's a lacking of word which tells me who this person is. And we know that the greatest word is a kind word. That's the greatest symbol that this person will care about you and look after you. So yes, it's true, it's important to look for physical attraction, but it's also very important, in fact, more important, to also find a spiritual attraction, and that's through speaking, through their word, through listening to how they speak, what's interesting to them, what is their values, and through the word you see who that person is. Are they kind? That is the underlying theory, understanding is, are they kind? Are they able to have kindness and have an ability to give in, compromise when it comes to this relationship that you will build together for a lifetime? Okay, the sixth discussion which we had was the Talmud in Baba Batra 15b. The Talmud recounts that Abraham was one of the early healers, and it says a very interesting story that he had a stone that he placed on his neck, and anyone who saw this stone would be healed, and they would experience healing. And after Abraham died, there was no one to replace Abraham. There was no people that could replace the greatness of Abraham, and because of that, this stone was placed with the sun. So what does that mean? And Rabbeinu Bechai explains that it's all a parable, that there That's his interpretation, that the stone that was on his neck was actually his words. That was his ability to speak. And that's why it was on his neck, and that was the great stone, the great diamond, was his voice and his soothing voice. And those who listened to him found healing, as Abraham played a crucial role in bringing God into the lives of many, many people. And when Abraham died, there was no one else to demonstrate God's greatness in the world besides for the Son. So the stone was placed next to the Son, and the Son does teach me God's greatness. 93 million miles away, and gives off so much light that even when it's not directly in me, I'm in a room right now and there's light coming through my window, the power of the sun is so great, and it gives us energy, it gives us food, it gives us everything. If the world didn't have the sun, we would be in complete darkness. We wouldn't be able to grow anything. So think about how much the sun gives. Abraham gave that light to the world, and he was called Avraham HaEvri, Abraham on the other side, because he was the alone against all the chaos that was happening in the world. It was Abraham on one side and the rest of the world on the other, and it was moral chaos in his time. What kind of words and enlightenment do you think Abraham gave to so many people? What light did he give? And the answer is, he taught them the word of Torah. He taught them the idea that there's a creator, that we have a purpose, that we have a reason, that every action we do is accountable for. And when someone lives this way, you value every move that you make, every breath you take, every single aspect of your life is valued because you understand that you have a reason. So this word that Abraham gave, and gratitude and joy of life that he gave to the world, to so many people, was a great light. And finally, discussion number 7 was how healing with words relates to this week's Torah portion. I'm just going to read you the text here. This week's Torah portion is called Yitro, or Jethro. Jethro was Moses' father-in-law and the priest of Midian. He was a very powerful leader of many pagan countries who practiced various forms of idol worship, some of which were extremely evil. Upon hearing the story of the Jewish people leaving Egypt, he converted to Judaism. It's mentioned that Yitro listened, Vayishma Yitro listened to the beautiful words of Moses and to the teachings of Torah, and he became so inspired that he decided to convert. But more than anything, Yitro was healed through the words of Torah. How was he healed? Simple. When a person takes on and understands and connects to the values of Judaism, it heals you from so much confusion. There is so much confusion in the world. We have a soul and we have a body. The body many times takes us in places we don't necessarily need to go. It pulls us into the wrong direction. And with this, I explain to everyone a beautiful idea that, by nature, we are most likely going to go by what feels best. That's how we work. We go by our feelings, and what feels best, we do best. So, for instance, if I go to the gym, I'm most likely going to work out the muscles that I think make me look best, which are probably the biceps, my chest, my abs. I want everyone to see how I look. But if I do that and I only work out those muscles continuously, I'm going to injure my back, my legs, my whole body will be injured. A good workout is where I have a guide that tells me that I need to work out all of the muscles of my body. But without guidance, someone who's never learned how to work out in the gym will go based off feelings, and feelings is dangerous because it can pull us in the wrong directions. And what pulls us away just from living based on feelings? The Torah, the Talmud, the rabbis, our teachings. All the Jewish values that we have, they take us away from feelings, and only feelings. They give us feelings too, but they take us away with making feelings decide for me what's right over what's wrong. And we must live in that way. Also, a person that has a home, that has the right boundaries. If you have a home with no boundaries in it, no walls, no fence, no nothing, what happens to that home? The home has no identity. You don't even know where you yourself live. Where's your exact address? Where exactly it begins, where it ends. But a home with the right boundaries, that has identity. It's a safe place to be. And same with us, we need to have boundaries in our life. The right boundaries, not just whatever I see, I look at. Whatever I eat. Whatever I think. No, we have to have boundaries in our life. And that's the word of the Torah that heals us and gives us all of these correct boundaries for life. Thank you for listening. That was the discussion for this week, and I hope to discuss again next week's topic. Thank you.